Here we are going to do a walk around video of the 2010 Mercedes C63 AMG. This is a P31 Development Package car, and what that means is that this car has the connecting rods and pistons that are forged from the SLS. Rumor is it has the crankshaft also. I haven't been able to verify that, and honestly it doesn't really matter. So this makes 481 horsepower. This is the famous M156. This is high revving, big displacement V8, the kind that they are not making anymore. And with the P31 development package, besides the engine, which I'll show you later, you get the two-piece front rotors, Brembo brakes, 6-piston calipers. These things will pull the butt out of a horse. You got one-piece rotors on the rear. These have brand new pads front and rear. Rotors were measured. They're all good. This car is steel gray metallic. Special order color. Also known as Tenorite gray, I believe. I mean, why not have 3 or 4 different names for your paint? And it has a rather rare interior. We've got the white interior in here. It has the Amg Leather Package. This car is highly optioned. We'll get into the options later. But what you want is the P31 Development Package, and that gets you the cool Alcantara steering wheel. This car has navigation. This car is the upgraded stereo. This car is the Amg Leather Package. And most importantly, this car has the option 471 limited slip differential, which is very good combined with the P31 development package. Very hard combination to find. I personally can't imagine driving this car without a limited slip diff. It's a lot of power to put down in the basically small tires it has on the rear. This car, I believe, came originally with 255s on the rear, 255s. These are 265. 265 will fit easily. When I got it, it had 275s, which are just a little too big. They rub the inside of the wheel well, and I don't like that. So it's got a little more rubber. Rear tires, Michelin Pilot. These are Pilot Sport AS3 Plus. These have a 2019 date code. These were put on last year. And the front were put on about 2 weeks ago. Matching Pilot Sport AS3 Plus. These have a 20 date code. So the tires are brand new. The brake pads were put on 4 days ago. They are new. And what you also get with this car is you get full service history from day one. This is a 3-owner car. I am the 3rd owner. This car was serviced by the original 2 owners at the same Mercedes dealership in Utah. Dry climate. This car has full service history from day one, and it has recently been serviced at Mercedes of Fort Wayne. Oil change and a couple other things. I'll get into that in a minute. We have the awesome hardback sport seats in excellent shape. Great interior. Got the bird's eye walnut. You also, with the P31 development package, you get the very cool real carbon fiber spoiler. None of that fake stuff, none of that wrapped stuff. You can also have the option to get a very cool license plate if that's your thing. Awesome twin tips on either side, because we know the best thing about this car, besides the speed and comfort, is the sound. Everybody talks about the sound, and for good reason, and we'll try to show you that later. Got the driver's cockpit. It's a very nice place to be. Got the nice aluminum pedals. Seats are in really good shape. They have been conditioned. Steering wheel is in very good shape. As everybody knows, the suede is usually completely destroyed. This looks very nice. Car has around 64,000 miles. I'm not sure exactly. We'll get to that in a second. Again, we have the navigation. We have the upgraded stereo, heated seats, the rear shade works, air conditioning works. Everything works on this car. There's not a single thing that doesn't work on the car. Like I said, new tires on this side too. All 4 new tires. You don't have to worry about that. You got the new brake pads, recent service, oil change. And when I had the car inspected out in Utah, it noted a couple things it needed, and they were tires, brake pads, and the oil pan gasket was seeping, which is very common. Lower oil pan gasket seeps on these cars. I think they make them out of bubble gum or something like that. And I had all those things fixed. It's got new tires, new brakes, and the lower oil pan gasket was indeed fixed on the car. I have documentation of all that. The car does have some rock chips on the hood. It's very hard to show in video. They're not major. They have been touched up by somebody. They look decent. The body is in really good shape. The only thing I really see is the edge of this lip is kind of hanging down. I don't know if you can see it. It's probably hard to see. I'm sure that can be fixed. There is some wheel rash on some of the wheels. Maybe you can see this. Not all of them. The front left, that's the front left. The rear left looks really good. The rear right, just a touch. Very good shape. And the front right is really clean too. These are the original rims. They're not fake knockoff AMG rims that you buy at Kmart. And again, let's look at the rear seats. Again, super clean. I don't think anybody sat back here. No kid seats back here, although you could put one in, which is great. It's also a functional car because you have the split folding rear seats. You can put lumber in here, of course. That's its main purpose, hauling lumber. We look at the interior again. And now let's take a look at the engine. That's what you're here for. I'm pretty sure. I know it's what I was here for. Here we go. In all its glory. The M156. It will never happen again, unfortunately. One of the greatest engines ever made. Top 10 engine lists all the time. And even the badge is not completely destroyed. Every other one you can't read the badge, let's be honest. This engine is in perfect shape. Like I said, 64,000 miles. It uses no oil. There's no weird sounds. It does not use coolant. Everybody's going to talk about the head bolts, blah, blah, blah. Mid-2011, they changed the head bolt design. They were having head bolt failure. Basically, the head bolt corrodes and coolant seeps between the head gasket head bolt, and you start losing coolant. Low coolant light comes on, you add coolant, it overheats. Eventually, it can cause your engine to fail. It was never a recall. Most engines don't fail. They made, I don't know, over 200,000 engines like this. And the failure rate, if you do your research and not read internet forums, it's about 1% to 2% really. This is not the IMS bearing of Mercedes. Everybody thinks it is. It's not. This car, as far as I know, does not have the head bolts retrofitted. And if you want to do that, that's totally fine. It was not a concern of mine. If it was, I would have done it. I'm that type of person. Anyway, what you really came here to see is the dark gray intake manifold. Dark gray intake manifold signifies that it is a P31 Development Package car. If you decode the VIN, it'll say increased engine power. That gives you 481 horsepower. It's roughly 30 horsepower more than a standard one. I feel like it revs a little more freely because of the forged rods and pistons. I could be imagining that just because the car is batshit fast. I'm not really sure. Anyway, I've driven both. I feel like you can feel it. Does it matter? I mean, at least you can say, hey, it's got forged rods and pistons out of an SLS, which is honestly pretty badass for a small C-Class sedan. I mean, this car is completely bonkers, let's be honest. Mercedes engineers somehow got this past their bosses, to me, which is totally genius. So that's the engine. There's the front of the car. This car also has brand new Philips Xenon bulbs. Those are pricey. I put them in myself. I actually know how to do that. I'm sure everybody does. It's not very hard. Anyway, brand new Philips bulbs. Not the cheap Chinese ones on eBay. They're very bright headlights. They're very good. There's a little bubbling on that chrome trim right there. None of these vents are cracked. They all are. You always know that. They're usually cracked. These are not cracked at all. Nothing's chipped. Everything looks good. This car was recently clay barred and ceramic coated. The entire car, including the rims, ceramic coating, so it should stay this way for a while. The only major blemish that I can see, there is a paint blemish right here on the fender. It is not a dent. It looks like it was a scratch or something that was touched up and maybe not touched up that well. I've never bothered with it. I generally don't care about stuff like that. There is another scratch right here on the fender. I'm not sure if you can even see it. It's very hard to show this stuff in video. But there's a scratch on the fender. And there is a blemish right there. So that's about it. The rest of the car looks extremely clean. Extremely nice. The color is really amazing. I get compliments on the color all the time. Very cool and very hard to find this color with a white interior. And very hard to find a P31 car with this color, with a limited slip differential, with full maintenance history from day one. And I can't forget to tell you that this car comes with a 3-year, 36,000 mile powertrain warranty. Yes, that's right. I paid the extra money and got a cornerstone powertrain warranty. And I'm sure you've never heard of it. I had never either. But I already used it to replace the oil pan gasket, so I know it is not just some guy in his basement in Brooklyn selling car warranties. It actually worked. They actually paid for it and covered it. And it covers basically everything in the powertrain. Transmission, axles. It covers the engine. It covers all that stuff. So that's some peace of mind right there. If you're worried about that. This car has not been beat on. You will not see it on 1320 videos on YouTube or drag times or any of that stuff. It was owned by 2 adults, and I include myself as a 3rd adult. And why don't we hear how it sounds?